Hi students, now I will be showing you how to solve or how to compute the settlement of a building. So this is another topic in consolidation. I hope during the lecture I didn't give much stress on the theory part regarding this because it can be explained along with the problem. So I will just rush to the question. A stratum of clay 8 meter deep has liquid limit 45%. The surface of clay is at 10 meter below the present ground level, and the water content of that clay is given as 40%, and the specific gravity is 2.78. Between the ground surface and clay, the subsoil consists of fine sand. So above the clay layer there is a layer of fine sand. The groundwater level is 4.5 meter below ground level. The average submerged unit weight of sand is 10.4 kilonewton per meter cube, and the unit weight of sand above the groundwater level is 17 kilonewton per meter cube. The clay is normally consolidated. The weight of structure coming on top of sand above the clay increases the overburden pressure on clay by 40 kilonewton per meter square. Estimate the settlement of the building. So here a lot of things are given. The primary thing what you have to find out is when you construct a building on such a soil profile, what will be the settlement of that building. So for that you are given the properties of the clay, the properties of the sand, and also the pressure applied by the building on the ground surface. So for this, first you have to draw the profile, then only you can start the problem. So here you can see here you have a 10 meter thick sand above the layer of clay. The height of the clay layer is given, it is 8 meter. Also the location of water table is given, it is 4.5 meter from the ground level. So this is the ground level, this is the total thickness of the fine sand, and this is the total thickness of the clay layer, 10 meter fine sand and 8 meter clay layer, and you have a water table at a depth of 4.5 meter from the ground surface. Now the important thing is that whenever the pressure is applied, that pressure is applied on this clay. So they are saying that the pressure is applied, pressure is increased on the clay layer due to that building. So that pressure we usually assume it at the middle of the clay layer. So it is actually acting in the middle of the clay layer. So that is one thing. Another thing is you must be aware about these common geotechnical properties which have been taught in the earlier modules. That is the liquid limit, the shrinkage limit, plastic limit, the plasticity index, the specific gravity, water content, degree of saturation, all those basic things, how to find the effective stress. All these basics are put together for this single question. So if you want to answer or to find the settlement of a building, in fact this is the 5th module in your curriculum, so you must be aware of all the previous at least 3 modules. 4th module is something different, it is regarding the shear strength. So at least you must be aware of the 3 modules, first 3 modules, then only you can solve such a problem. And it is very important every time such questions are asked for university question as well as for competitive exams. So this is how you draw the soil profile. So draw a neat sketch first and then we will go to the problem. So first of all, what is the settlement equation for normally consolidated clay? There are 2 types of equations you have for normally consolidated clay and for over consolidated clay. So for various cases you have different settlement equations. So this is for normally consolidated clay. So the settlement is given as delta H is equal to Cc by 1 plus E naught into H into log to the base 10 sigma naught dash plus delta sigma by sigma naught dash. And I will explain each and every term. Delta H is the settlement which you are going to find out. Cc is the coefficient of compression coefficient of compression or compression index. E naught is the initial void ratio. H is the initial height of that clay specimen. Sigma naught dash is the initial overburden pressure acting on the clay at the middle of the clay, and delta sigma is the increase in overburden due to the pressure from the building. So how will you find Cc? So initially in the previous class I have told you that how WL is related to coefficient of compression index empirically. So if you are given the liquid limit, you can find Cc. So here it is an undisturbed clay sample, so you find the equation for Cc using this equation. Cc is equal to 0.009 into WL minus 10. You substitute the value of WL, you can find Cc. WL is 45, directly substitute 45, you get the Cc value. So that is the first part, how to find the Cc. So you got the Cc value here, 0.315. Now how will you find the initial void ratio of the clay? So you know the void ratio equation from the first module, that is E is equal to Wg by S. Now here already it is mentioned that the clay is fully saturated. So E naught is equal to W into G. Water content is already given in the problem, 40%. Specific gravity of clay is given, so find the E naught value, which is 1.112. Now you need to find the saturated weight of the clay. How will you find? I hope in the problem the saturated weight is not given. Submerged weight of sand is given, unit weight of sand is given. So we are not given the weight of clay. So that is also an important part. So for that you follow this equation. This is also coming from the first module. Gamma sat of clay is gamma W into G plus E by 1 plus E. You have all the values, you have G, you have the initial void ratio, so you get the saturated unit weight of clay as 18.08 kilonewton per meter cube. Now this is the figure which I already explained. Now how will you find the effective overburden pressure at the center of the clay, initial condition, before applying the load? So it is nothing but the effective stress, which you have already covered in the previous module, in the third module I hope. So effective stress is first, it is due to the weight of the sand. You have dry sand here, you can't say dry, moist maybe, 17 into 4.5 plus the weight of the submerged sand, that is 10.4 into 5.5, this height, plus the saturated clay, that is 18.08, which I already found out now, into the height till the middle, that is into 4. So you get the effective. So this is the total stress, and from this if you reduce the pore water pressure you will get the effective stress. So you found out the total stress. Now what is the pore water pressure? It starts from here, that is 5.5 the height into 9.81, then 4 into 9.81, that is the pore water pressure up to the middle of the clay. Now we know that the effective stress is the total stress minus the pore water pressure. You can find the effective stress. So already these things have been covered in the previous module, how to find the effective stress, but still I am explaining it elaborately again because this may help you in finding the effective stress, in solving the effective stress problem also. So you have a layer of sand here up to 4.5, the sand is not saturated, then from here it is saturated till where the clay starts. Now it is the saturated clay, and you are asked to find the effective stress at the middle of the clay layer. So how will you find it? You have the height, you will first find the total stress, then you will find the pore water pressure, you will deduce the pore water pressure from the total stress to find the effective stress. So this height 4.5 into the weight of the sand you have here, it is 17 kilonewton per meter cube, then this height 5.5 is the submerged weight, that is 10.4, that is also given, plus you have the weight of the clay, which is 8.08, so multiply that with 4. Okay, so you will get the total stress. Now here I have made a mistake, sorry for that. Here already in the question they are given the submerged weight, that is this condition is already, sand is already in the submerged condition, so no need to deduce this term, that is the pore water pressure 9.81 into 5.5, because it is already in the submerged condition. So this is a mistake here. So you have the total stress here. Now for effective stress only deduce this value, that is 9.81 into 4, because already I have considered this as the submerged condition, because actual weight is 17 and this is the submerged weight. So in the problem they are given the submerged weight, so you be careful about that part also, whether it is the saturated weight or the submerged weight. So they have given as it is the submerged weight. The value of 10.4 is already considering the reducing the pore water pressure. Okay, so while finding the pore water pressure, this term won't be there. 9.81 into 5.5 won't be there. It will be only 9.81 into 4, which is the only the pore water pressure developed in this clay layer. Now you find the effective stress. So there will be slight change in the effective stress. All the remaining part will be according to the procedure. So only make a change here. No need of this term 9.81 into 5.5. So I found the effective stress now. So this value will change. I have made a mistake. So here that if you this term I am reducing this term twice. Here already I have reduced it, again here I am reducing it. So you will get a higher effective stress. So find the correct value of this and solve the equation. Okay, I apologize for that mistake and thankful that I found it now. Now this is the effective overburden pressure, initial effective overburden pressure. Now this is the increase in the effective overburden pressure, delta sigma. So now directly go to the equation of settlement for normally consolidated clay. You have delta H, you have the value of, you need to find delta H, you have the value of Cc, you have the value of E naught. So Cc you substitute here, substitute E naught. This is the height of the clay layer, and this is the log of the, this is the overburden pressure, initial overburden pressure, plus the added pressure divided by the initial overburden pressure. Now you get the settlement in terms of meter. You can show it in terms of meter, express in meters or centimeters, but never you can even express in mm. It's up to you how you, but whenever you do it, you must make sure that all the units correspond to that particular unit. That means if you are finding delta H in meters, then all these terms must be in that way. See, if you are taking here everything is in kilonewton per meter cube, kilonewton per meter square, then obviously delta H must be in meters. So don't get confused regarding the type of unit you are going to adopt. So whenever you are having a problem, first of all see that how the units are represented. If they are all given in kilonewton per meter square, in meter cube and all, then your final answer must be in meters, and maybe in some case they will give you in tons, then also it will be ton per meter square, then also your final answer for settlement will be in meters. So no need to make any change. But if the unit weights, instead of unit weights, if they give the density, then gram per cc, then maybe your settlement will be in terms of centimeters. So be very careful regarding the units. So this is a little bit tricky problem. Even I got confused because of that particular section, that the submerged unit weight of sand made me a little bit confused. That's why even I made a mistake here. So be very careful doing such problems. So again I am going to repeat the same thing here. While finding the effective stress, just don't consider this part. Don't reduce the pore water pressure of this section, because this is already the submerged weight of the sand. All the remaining things are correct. Okay, so this is the another important section, how to find the settlement of a building. These questions are even asked for civil service exams, so it is a kind of tough question. So I hope you got the better understanding of how to find the settlement of a building. Okay, thank you.